Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Wyggzz here, bringing you yet again another mock draft video. This is going to be rounds 7 and 8 of our mock draft. Our first one, what my dad and I plan on doing a separate one ourselves here as well for you guys. So expect that in the coming weeks, as well as a few things such as leaderboards and a few other videos that we have coming your way, even breaking down some divisional records, etc. So. We hope you guys have been enjoying this so far, and we hope our picks have been relatively good. There are a few things I personally would change for my draft, but um, that's something I could do going into our second mock draft. But nonetheless, we're going to hop right on into it.
Hollywood Brown, I know earlier that you said he is not the answer to the Chiefs, and I completely disagree. I think Hollywood Brown has shown with Lamar Jackson that he can be a really good wide receiver. I think the two people in this draft that are the closest to Tyreek Hill is Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown, and I think the Chiefs are really smart for getting Hollywood Brown, and they definitely know what they're doing. And
Well,
he's
I
going
don't
to be the
disagree
wide
with you
receiver
about
one.
with Ingram, because if you saw my AFC South dream team, Ingram was my tight end. So I do disagree with you that he's going to have a better year than Andrews, but I do agree with you that he's going to have a better year than the other tight ends. So I think you got him at a steal when you did. So I applaud your pick there. And listen, Hollywood Brown, maybe he'll have a great year, but he played 14 games last year. He was with his college quarterback. Yeah, he had a good connection with Lamar, but I just don't see every time the Chiefs bring in a wide receiver, he's the receivers for the Chiefs never end up producing the way people think they're going to produce.
See, I would be taking Hollywood Brown over old Terry McLaurin, who has a rookie QB that's not proven. I think I would take Hollywood Brown with the system, with the Andy Reid system, and the best QB in the league over old McLaurin. Also,
McLaurin is 1 year older.
Hollywood Brown's coming in. He already had an issue before going like 125 miles per hour, getting pulled over. So we don't have to worry about him getting arrested. But we will see him go 125 miles on the field. That's for sure.
It's funny how he's only 1 year younger than McLaurin, but McLaurin is an old guy.
And to prove this point, too, McLaurin's had more 1,000-yard seasons. Brown's only done it once in his 5 years in the league. Brown has finished at best 22nd at wide receiver. You look outside of that 1 year, he's finished 36 as his best. He hasn't been able to chain together, not even with Lamar,
Cool.
like one solid year.
Stats. That's lovely. Guess what? Hollywood Brown now is in the Chiefs system with the best QB in the league. You both are delusional. Now hush, next person.
Sitting in this spot picking him is fine, but like you're gassing up way more than he should be gassed up right now. He hasn't done anything to prove himself in the league yet.
I'm going to take Hollywood Brown on the Super Bowl championship team rather than Terry McLaurin with Jaden Daniels, who, again, is not with the best rookie QB, which was a really hot take that you said. That's also why I took Caleb Williams when I did, because he will be the best rookie QB with the most weapons on the best team out of all the rookie QBs.
Well, Ryan, I'm glad you stand by your convictions, but I'm telling you, McLaurin's going to have a better season than Hollywood Brown, and the champ has spoken.
Well, if you draft the team you just drafted, trust me, you're going to be where I was last year. So.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Thank you for the content.
Those are big words from the last place team.
Yeah, and that's
2
where
years
you're
straight.
going to be this year with that team.
Wait, I think is that the last place team 2 years straight?
I bet if we do a poll on this video, I guarantee you my team will be ranked higher than your team.
I don't care what people think about my team. I go with what my gut says. Everybody thought I wasn't going to do well last year, and oh wait, I forget who
I
won
don't
the
think
championship.
anybody said I don't think a single person has said that.
So, anyways, Ethan, you took Stevenson. What was your
Yeah.
thought process there?
I didn't love it. I didn't really like Mostert with Achane already, especially for my RB2. I needed a running back. I don't like Eckler. I think B-Rob's going to be the better running back there. Zamir White, he's in contention to just like lose his job. Like I feel like he's going to be like there's going to be like a Dameon Pierce type thing to where he's like a mid-round running back when there's like on like a and everyone's just kind of like on him, and just like someone's going to come in and take over. Like I don't know. Stevenson, I feel like out of all the running backs there is in I also don't really like Pollard. I think him and Spears are going to be a 50-50 split, and I would rather have Spears a few rounds later. I feel like Antonio Gibson's going to eat away at it a little bit. I'm just kind of betting on the upside that he just catches a bunch of passes from Drake May, and it has like an efficient year on a not good offense. I didn't love it, but it was kind of had a forced hand there, and I feel like he was the best out of all the options there. So
I didn't think it was a bad pick. I think I think there was a couple other guys I would have picked over him, but I can see why you picked them. I think Zamir White's going to have a tremendous year this year. I think that he's in a great situation. They got rid of Jacobs. They brought in Alexander Mattson. Mattson's proven year after year that he's a number 2 back at best. He couldn't get the job done with the Vikings last year. He's not even gonna compete with White for the starting position this year. White's, I followed White in the offseason. Dude is a beast. I think he's gonna have a breakout year. I think had they not had Jacobs last year, he probably would have had a lot better year. And when Jacobs was hurt, he filled in and did a great job. And so that's why I took him where he's at. But you guys know how I am. I put more value on wide receivers than I do running backs. So I'm perfectly fine with the running backs that I got. And to be quite honest, I'm surprised that White dropped down as far as he did.
I'm honestly not that surprised he did because he could be splitting reps for Madison with Madison for all we know. Don't get me wrong, he's gonna be that starting back, but I don't know.
I feel like he's gonna score a lot of points, and like there's a chance Madison's the goal line back. There's a chance there's not. I just don't feel like they're going to be very good. They're not going to score a lot of points. I don't think he's a very efficient runner. They don't have a very good O-line. They don't have very good quarterback play. Moving on.
Time will tell.
Anyways.
So, Brandon, what about Ridley?
Well, I was going to take White here or Stevenson if Stevenson somehow dropped down. I don't think I thought this one through. I should have taken Deontay. And then I didn't do it the next round. I don't know what I was thinking here in this spot. But of the two receivers in Tennessee, I think Ridley's going to have the better year. So I guess that's the only argument I could really take. I wanted to take Reed, but I just don't know who to pick from the Packers offense with the receivers to really pull the trigger on Reed.
Are we sure he's going to have a better year than D-Hop?
Yes.
He didn't have a better year than Christian Kirk last year, so I feel like
Trevor Lawrence was his quarterback. Inconsistent.
Wow.
I think
Listen,
the Titans are
he just came
not
off a
going to be as bad
suspension.
as people think they are.
Yeah, and Will Levis is his quarterback. Are you saying Will Levis is better than Trevor Lawrence?
I'm not saying he's necessarily better, but I think he'll be more consistent throwing the ball
Trevor
to Ridley.
Lawrence has got overpaid. What has Trevor Lawrence done to deserve $50 million a year?
That's what the market value is. He's a young quarterback who's good.
He didn't deserve them. He didn't. Listen, Tua, the Dolphins don't want to pay Tua. And Tua
is way
Crushed
better.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, but Tua has 5 concussions.
But also look at Ridley though. Like he would have had a much better year if Lawrence could actually throw the ball consistently good to him.
I completely disagree there. There is so if you go watch the film, like any football enthusiast has, Trevor Lawrence missed or Calvin Ridley missed so many just perfect catches. What you want out of a wide receiver, and like we've been saying with the Vikings with Justin Jefferson every single year, is throw it somewhere in his vicinity and he's going to catch the ball. And that is exactly what Trevor Lawrence did. That's exactly what wide receivers want them to do. And they were dots, and Calvin Ridley sold the ball.
Hey,
Completely
Ryan,
disagree.
I don't disagree that he dropped some passes last year and missed some opportunities. But let me tell you this. There was a lot of times where Calvin Ridley was wide open and Trevor Lawrence completely missed him. And I
And
did
you can
watch the
say that
film.
about any QB in the
Hey,
league.
I get it. But here's the thing that people are missing the fact of. Calvin Ridley, I think, is gonna have he now that he's been back for a year, he's gonna have his legs back underneath him. It was taking him it took him a while to get his game legs back on. And I think Will Levis is gonna he proved last year when he played that he can throw the ball because he obviously had a great connection with D Hop. I think that Will Levis is gonna have a better year than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is overrated. Just my 2 cents. So Brandon, what do you want to say about Jake Ferguson?
I think in this spot, I really had no choice but to take Ferguson over like Bowers or Schultz or even Hawkinson at this point. So it was really just kind of like the best option at tight end, and I didn't draft one yet. So,
Pick. He's a really good pick.
and I think his connection with Dak, yes, I know you're a Dak hater because oh Cowboys, whatever, but he showed that he can play like football. I mean, he had a what top, I think it was top 8 performance last year at tight end, minimum top 10. Like he had decent points. So
He was at a 9. And I mean, he's like for a tight end this round at this late, like he's gonna get you consistently like 10
yeah.
to 12 points. It was a really good pick.
Otherwise, I would have taken Deontay or a receiver, but I needed a tight end. So
Well, I'm glad you took Jake because that allowed me to take Deontay. So I think Deontay's fell into the perfect situation. That's just my opinion. I think he's he's with Adam Thielen, who's an experienced leader on the team at wide receiver. I think Deontay was thrown into a really bad situation last year with Pickens. I don't think either one of them were what you would consider a locker room leader for that wide receiver room, just because of their age and their maturity. So I think Deontay getting out of there and going to Carolina is going to be actually a great move for him, especially with Adam Thielen there. They have a couple other decent wide receivers on that team as well. I think Bryce Young uh, is going to have improvement. Is he going to be the best quarterback? No, but I think that Deontay's going to have I think he's going to have a rebound season. I know some people might not want to compare it, might not understand the comparison, but Chris Carter didn't, when Philadelphia let him go and he came to Minnesota, that was the best move that ever happened for Chris Carter, and he became a Hall of Fame wide receiver. And I think Deontay has a second chance, just like Carter does here, to rebound, and I think he's going to take advantage of it. So
I think out of all your statements today, this was the best take you've had so far. I would
well,
agree with
thank you,
everything you
Ryan. I
said.
appreciate that.
I think Chris Harris is a little wild, but I mean, like, yeah, he's going to be pretty good.
I also think Bryce Young is going to have a better year. I think Bryce Young it was very unfortunate with the situation he had last year, with McCaffrey gone and then DJ Moore leaving. But yeah, I think Deontay Johnson's going to for sure be the wide receiver one, and him and Bryce Young will have a good connection. But
Yeah, I agree. I think Bryce Young was, because of what CJ Stroud did last year. I think that I think that was an unfair comparison for Bryce Young, because I just think that Carolina just did not help him.
Yeah, their offense sucked. I mean, when Adam Thielen's your wide receiver one at like 35 or however old he is, that's kind of sad. Like, Mingo was so hyped up to be good last year, and he really just didn't do anything. Their run game didn't help either because their run game was horrid all year. So, like, I don't know. They weren't set up at all to like have a good year behind Bryce.
No, and they drafted Jonathan Brooks. I think Jonathan Brooks is going to have a good season. I think Mingo, and Ethan would probably agree with me, I think Mingo's still talented. And I think bringing in Deontay and having Deontay and Thielen and Mingo, I do think Mingo's going to have, he's going to have a lot of growth this year.
I think Mingo's the wide receiver 4. I think Xavier Legette is going to have a big year.
Mingo's going to barely sniff the field.
Yeah.
And Ryan, you could be right. I don't disagree with that. I personally think that Mingo's going to show some growth this year. I think the guy's got talent.
I think he's moving in the wrong direction. He's going to be the wide receiver 4 this year. He might move down to wide receiver 5 if who is it, Brandon Marshall Jr. I think is also, yeah.
Anyways, after that, I picked Javonte. I was really hoping D-Hop was going to fall to me. Didn't. I'm not super high on Javonte. I'm not a huge fan of Brian Thomas. Watson, I considered. Just a lot of question marks around him. And JSN, I don't know. Like, I can understand a little bit of hype around him, but I feel like Lockett's not going anywhere. Like, JSN will be all right. But anyways, I went with Javonte mainly for depth reasons. I mean, I have that RB1 and Achan, and I just kind of wanted some pieces around it just to fill into my RB2 slot. And Javonte has the potential, like the upside is there, like we talked earlier with Sean Payton, the chance of him being good and of him catching a lot of check down passes. There's a chance he's good. There's a chance he's horrible and he gets cut and he doesn't play for my fantasy team anymore. It was mainly a depth move, but that's just that. And let's move on.
Yeah, you know what, Javonte, I think he's going to end up not being with the Broncos before the season starts. That's my personal opinion. And whether that's they trade him or they cut him, I think that I think you might be a little bit too high on him. That's my opinion. I think that Jalen Warren, Zach Moss, Blake Corum, I think even Troy Benson were all better options at that point. But you know, I just don't. I think Javonte is in Peyton's doghouse and he's going to be gone.
I mean, in this spot, I think picking like Zach Moss or even Coleman would have been better than Williams, but I also think McLaughlin, even if Williams is there, is going to have a pretty solid year as their running back.
But you made up for it because you got Jalen Warren the next round, Ethan, which I think is a steal.
Anyways, right. Tell me about C. Watt and Caleb.
I took C. Watt right here. I feel like I needed a wide receiver just in case my prediction of Zay Flowers and Hollywood Brown not having a big year. I think Christian Watson is going to be considered a sleeper this year. I think he's very low in this draft. I don't think he really got the chance to prove himself last year. because he was injured most of the year. But I think Jordan Love's hype is going to continue to grow, and Jordan Love's going to continue to grow as a QB. And I still think Christian Watson and Jaden Reed will be good options for Jordan Love.
I
Then,
like the pick. I think the only question mark around Watson is his health.
yeah, and I was Jackson Smith and the Jigba. I mean, I don't mind him, but I was debating between Keon Coleman. But I also needed a QB.